The narrative was suddenly out of everyone's hands. The question wasn't just what's in the folder anymore. It became who sent it, ... and why now? Chrissy was the first to break. The morning after the leak, she stormed off set during a scheduled green screen interview. Insiders say she screamed at one of the producers, accusing them of setting her up. "This was supposed to be controlled," she allegedly shouted. "We had a plan. She wasn't supposed to have the upper hand." Yandy, on the other hand, stayed eerily calm to calm. According to someone close to the glam squad, she didn't flinch when the leak was mentioned. In fact, she reportedly smiled. "I knew this day would come," she said, fixing her hair in the mirror. People need to know who Chrissy really is. The contents of the folder were damning. Not only did it include screenshots of text exchanges between Chrissy and Yandy dated months before filming even started, but it also exposed detailed notes from early meetings with producers. One section, handwritten, outlined a staged confrontation plan that mimicked almost exactly what aired in episode 3. The confrontation at the brunch spot, rehearsed. The walkout, timed. The slamming of the purse, all pre-discussed. But then came the voice notes, and that's when things took a sharp turn. One recording revealed Chrissy saying, "Look, I don't trust her, but I need this deal to go through. Once I get what I want, she can go to hell." The voice is unmistakably her stone cold, calculated. Another note from Yandy's phone captured her saying, "I know she's using me, but if she thinks I'm not using her too, she's dumber than I thought." Fans were shocked. This wasn't just reality TV anymore. This was manipulation at its peak, and it felt real. The internet went wild. Fan pages flooded with theories. Hashtags exploded. People began choosing sides against some, saying Chrissy was the real mastermind, others defending her and accusing Yandy of leaking the folder herself. A growing number believed the truth lay somewhere in the middle, that both women had orchestrated a spectacle. But the fallout had grown beyond their control, and then came the twist no one expected: the identity of the anonymous leaker. It wasn't a crew member. It wasn't a betrayed friend. It was someone from the inside, ... but deeper. It's one no one had even thought to suspect. Mendici's single quotes as cousin, while seen on camera, but often present behind the scenes, was the mole. Multiple insiders confirmed he had access to both women's teams. He had quietly recorded phone calls, taken photos of meeting notes, and even posed as a third-party assistant during early negotiations. But why? The answer was deeply personal. DeAndre had been helping manage a small property investment deal that Yandy had entered coincidentally, the same one that was part of the alleged pact with Chrissy. When the deal began to sour and promises were broken, DeAndre ended up taking the financial fall. Furious, betrayed, and armed with receipts, he decided to blow everything up. "He told me it wasn't about revenge," said someone close to him. "He said it was about truth. It's about showing people what happens when reality TV becomes more fake than fiction." But his decision created a ripple effect no one could contain. Production halted for 3 days. Chrissy disappeared, canceling all scheduled filming, going silent on social media. Her team issued a vague statement about mental health and boundaries. Fans began speculating she was preparing to sue. Meanwhile, Yandy leaned in. She posted a cryptic caption beneath a serene photo of her sipping tea. "Sometimes the truth hurts, but silence is worse." The tension was now unbearable. When Chrissy returned to set, she refused to speak to anyone but him and her stylist. She walked past Yandy like she didn't exist. The energy was icy chilling, even for reality TV standards. And then came the dinner scene. Producers convinced both women to attend a cast dinner off camera at first, just to clear the air. What followed was chaos. According to a source who waited at their table, it started to calm. Plates were served, water poured, light conversation about fashion. But the moment Chrissy mentioned the word trust, Yandy cut her off. "Trust," she said, laughing. "You sold your trust for a down payment on a condo." Don't act like you're the victim here, Chrissy snapped. I didn't leak our conversations. You had your little cousin doing your dirty work. Own it, Yandy replied sharply. I never asked him to leak anything. But I'm not mad that he did. Maybe now people see who the real manipulator is. Voices rose. Staff cleared the room. A wine glass shattered. The footage secretly filmed by another cast member would never make it to air. But the audio leaked within days. The fallout was nuclear. Producers faced backlash. The network was accused of exploiting real relationships for fake drama. Fans debated ethics, loyalty, and what lines should never be crossed. What began as a simple return to TV arc had spiraled into real-life fractures. Burned bridges and legal threats. Jim Jones reportedly gave Chrissy an ultimatum: walk away from the show or walk away from him. He felt the stage drama had crossed into their personal lives in ways they couldn't undo. He was tired, said a friend. Tired of seeing Chrissy dragged, tired of the fighting. He didn't want to lose her again. As for Mendices, he stood by Yandy publicly, but those close to him say it came at a cost. He told her, "This isn't who we are," said a source close to his team. But she said she needed to finish. The arc, she needed to win. But what exactly was winning? By now, the pact had dissolved. The property deal was dead. Trust had been broken, and the audience was watching more closely than ever. The network, in a desperate attempt to salvage the season, planned a special 2-part finale featuring never-before-seen footage, emotional sit-downs, and promises of closure. But insiders say it wasn't closure they were selling. It was one final explosion. Because just when fans thought they had seen the worst, a new message surfaced. One that hinted another person was involved in the pact, someone no one had suspected, someone whose loyalty was about to be tested in the most public way possible. That's where part 3 begins. As we uncover the third player in the pact and how their betrayal might be the biggest twist of them all. The mysterious message that surfaced after the leaked dinner audio didn't come from an insider, a producer, or even a cast member. It came from a burner account, one that had never posted before and vanished within hours. The only thing left behind was a single line: "Ask Olivia where the money really went." At first, fans thought it was a troll. Olivia hadn't been directly involved in any of the recent drama. She'd made brief appearances on earlier seasons, kept her distance, and avoided the heavy feuds. But insiders knew better. Olivia had ties to both Yandy and Chrissy that went way back, far beyond what the cameras ever showed. A few fans with sharp memories began digging. Screenshots of old footage surfaced, moments where Olivia was seen in the background of meetings, or briefly mentioned in passing during heated discussions. But it was one particular clip that changed everything, a behind-the-scenes moment where Chrissy told Yandy, "We just need Olivia to agree, then we can move forward." The clip had never aired. It wasn't even in the deleted scenes. Yet somehow, it leaked, and it confirmed what many were beginning to suspect. Olivia wasn't just a bystander. She was the third person in the pact, and her role: financial coordinator, according to documents that surfaced just days later. Again, anonymously, Olivia was allegedly managing funds being exchanged between Chrissy and Yandy as part of their private agreement. The property deal, Olivia brokered it. The stage B fee Yandy was promised. Olivia was the one holding the check. She was the buffer, said a source close to the production finance team. She kept everything clean, off the books, until things started falling apart. Unraveling began when Chrissy accused Olivia of withholding payment. She believed the deal had been rigged from the beginning, and that Yandy and Olivia had planned to cut her out once the storyline went viral. Yandy, however, claimed Chrissy was lying in, that Olivia had ghosted both of them after taking her. Fans were stunned. This wasn't just TV drama anymore. This was money, betrayal, and real-life consequences. Olivia, usually calm and composed, finally broke her silence in a no-deleted Instagram live session. Although it only lasted for minutes, it was enough to ignite another explosion. "I was brought in to keep things clean," she said, voice shaking. "But they dragged me into a mess that wasn't mine," Chrissy lied. "Yandy manipulated, and I'm done covering for either of them." The live ended abruptly. No names were mentioned, but the damage was done. Both Yandy and Chrissy responded within hours. Chrissy posted a screenshot of a bank transfer, claiming it proved she never shorted Olivia. Her caption read, "Don't come for me unless you're ready to show your receipts." Yandy, meanwhile, posted a cryptic story of a snake emoji slithering across a black screen, followed by the words, "Trusted the wrong one, never again." At this point, the fan base fractured completely. Some were furious at Olivia, accusing her of being the puppet master behind it all. Others claimed she was just trying to clean up a deal that had gone toxic. And people close to him say he had been growing more and more uncomfortable with Chrissy's involvement in the manufactured drama. He had kept his distance, refusing to film certain scenes, avoiding press events. But when Olivia's name surfaced and the money trail began pointing to questionable deals, Jim decided enough was enough. He confronted Chrissy in private, but the conversation didn't stay private for long. An audio clip leaked, muffled, low quality, clearly recorded without permission. But clear enough. Jim can be heard saying, "I told you not to trust them. I told you they'd turn on you. Okay? And now it's all over the blogs. Do you even care what this is doing to us?" Casey's response was barely audible, but you could hear the crack in her voice. "I did it for us. I thought it would help us." Jim replied coldly, "This ain't helping. This is humiliation." The clip sent shockwaves. Fans who once rooted for Chrissy and Jim's forever love were heartbroken. Media outlets speculated whether the two were headed for a breakup. Some claimed Jim had already moved out of their shared home. Others said they were attending counseling. Meanwhile, Candy was quietly preparing for her own storm. Mendices, who had tried to stay out of the mess, finally had enough. He posted a statement through his team that read, "Our family doesn't need this kind of energy. We support each other, but we also hold each other accountable." Though he didn't name Yandy directly, the message was clear. Things were breaking down on every side. And the network. Kay loved it. Ratings had spiked. Fan engagement was at an all-time high. Kay, even as the story spiraled further from the original Pact, the producers were scrambling to keep cameras rolling. They proposed an emergency reunion episode filmed behind closed doors. No live audience, just the three women and a moderator. All three declined. Olivia disappeared from social media completely. Chrissy retreated to Miami. Yandy, for the first time in weeks, went silent. And yet, one final twist was still waiting to surface, because while all eyes were on Chrissy, Yandy, and Olivia, no one had been paying attention to a quiet, unassuming assistant who had worked with the production company for years. Her name, unknown to fans only as the girl who brings snacks during break scenes. Tara had been there since the start and noticed, unbothered. And as it turns out, recording everything. A blog post dropped overnight from a verified but anonymous insider, revealing Tara had kept a personal video diary of her time on set. Dozens of clips, dates, and behind-the-scenes footage. Everything from whispered arguments to unedited confrontation rehearsals. In one clip. The truth was laid bare. Tara recorded a private conversation between Chrissy and Olivia discussing the Pact before filming even began. In the video, Chrissy admits she doesn't trust Yandy, but believes the story arc will catapult us all into bigger brand deals. Olivia responds, "Just keep her busy with fake drama. She won't see what's really going on." Yandy was never meant to be a partner in the Pact. She was the target. And that is where part 4 begins. Because now that the truth is out, it's not just about broken deals or leaked texts anymore. It's about who used who and who's going to pay the price. When Tara's video surfaced, everything unraveled. was raw, shaky, and poorly lit, but none of that mattered. The audio was crystal clear, and what it captured was undeniable. Chrissy and Olivia plotted, with deliberate calm, to keep Yandy in the dark. There was no confusion, no playful banter. It was a strategy, cold, clean, calculated. The full clip was just under 4 minutes, but it was enough to destroy any remaining illusion that the pact had been equal. Chrissy, if we make her think she's in control, she'll overplay her hand, and that's when we make our move. Olivia, got it? Let her shine now. Make sure she doesn't know about this side deal. The internet froze. Fans didn't know whether to feel sympathy for Yandy or call her out for falling into the trap. After all the manipulation, all the fights, and the carefully built-up image of power, she had been outplayed, used, blindsided. Within hours, the video was trending. Major blogs picked it up. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. Yandy was the pawn all along, became the dominant headline across entertainment sites. Everyone was talking. But Yandy, she stayed silent. Too silent. Some fans speculated she was gearing up for a legal response. Others believed she was in complete shock. But behind the scenes, sources say something else entirely was happening. Yandy wasn't spiraling. She was planning her comeback. She saw the video, didn't cry, didn't scream. A close friend revealed. She just sat there, took a breath, and said, okay, now they've made it real. And it became real. Yandy contacted the network and demanded a sit-down interview. Solo, no Chrissy. No Olivia, no castmates. Just her, a camera, and the truth. It was bold, unfiltered, and unlike anything the franchise had aired before. The special dropped 3 days later. It was titled The Silence Breaks. Yandy tells her side. In it, she spoke calmly but directly. She addressed the pact, confirmed the meetings, admitted to some manipulation, but denied ever knowing she was being played from the beginning. I thought we were building something strategic. Yeah, she said, eyes steady. But I never agreed to be anyone's fool. When asked if she felt betrayed, she paused. I felt stupid, she confessed. I gave people the benefit of the doubt. I thought we were all working from the same angle. Turns out they were working for me. The clip of her wiping away a tear became an instant meme, but beneath the social media noise, something deeper was shifting. Fans began rewatching old scenes with new eyes. Every look, every hesitation, every moment that once seemed shady. Now felt heartbreaking. And the backlash toward Chrissy and Olivia. It was brutal. Chrissy tried to defend herself through a series of posts, claiming the clip was edited and taken out of context. She denied ever using Yandy, saying the comments were part of a joke. But fans weren't buying it. Even her most loyal followers began backing away. You could see the truth on her face. One viewer commented under a leaked set photo. She looked proud when she said it. Not even a hint of regret. Olivia remained off the grid. No statements, no interviews, nothing. Some claimed she had fled the country temporarily to escape the media firestorm. Others said she was hiding at a friend's house in Connecticut. Either way, her silence only made the guilt louder. And then, almost too perfectly, Yandy dropped the final bombshell: receipts, screenshots of texts, emails with timestamps. A signed document indicating she had invested real money into the property. Dell money that had mysteriously vanished once Chrissy and Olivia cut her out. She included bank statements, digital contracts, and a notarized message from DeAndre confirming everything he had witnessed from the start. No longer was this about pride or betrayal. This was about theft. I don't want to destroy anybody, Yandy said in her closing statement. I just want what's mine. And I want people to know I'm not stupid. The legal battle that followed was swift. Yandy's lawyers issued cease and desist letters to both Chrissy and Olivia, demanding repayment for the lost funds, public retraction of statements, and formal apologies for defamation. Though neither responded publicly, insiders say Chrissy's legal team entered quiet negotiations just days later. Meanwhile, the network was in full panic mode. What was meant to be a season built on nostalgic beef and playful conflict had transformed into a full-blown scandal with real legal consequences. But as always, scandal meant views, and views meant money. So of course, they wanted one last thing, a confrontation, live, unedited, but this time the women weren't interested in scripted showdowns. They wanted to tell the truth in their own way. So when the network offered them full creative control, something unexpected happened. Yandy agreed, but under one condition: no Chrissy, no Olivia, just her. And Jim. The network was stunned. But the offer was too hot to ignore. Jim initially refused, not getting dragged into this, he told producers. But after talking with Yandy directly and seeing the public destruction of Chrissy's image, he agreed to a private sit-down, filmed in a quiet studio in Harlem. And what followed was the most raw, emotionally tense footage the franchise had ever produced. Yandy and Jim sat across from each other. No makeup teams, no prompts, no audience. "I know you hate me," Yandy began, her voice calm. Jim shook his head. "I don't hate you. I just don't trust you." They spoke for over an hour. About Chrissy, the deal, the betrayal, about how it all spiraled out of control. But the most jaw-dropping moment came when Yandy looked Jim dead in the eye and asked, "Did you know about the Pact?" A long pause. Jim leaned back, looked down, and then whispered, "Not the way you think." Gasps. Online debates exploded within seconds. Fans dissected every blink, every twitch, trying to decide if he was telling the truth or hiding more. And with that, the mystery deepened again. Because if Jim knew something and chose not to speak, was he protecting Chrissy? Or was he involved? And that's where part 5 begins. Because the final unraveling is here, and someone's about to lose everything. Jim's words hung in the air like smoke. Not the way you think. He didn't clarify. He didn't double down. He didn't walk it back. He just let it sit there. And the silence that followed was louder than any confrontation. Yandy leaned in, trying to read his face. Her voice was low but sharp. "So what does that mean, Jim? Did you know she was setting me up?" He didn't blink. "I knew she was planning something. I didn't know what. I thought it was just for TV." The camera caught every flicker of emotion in Yandy's face. Betrayal, disbelief, then resignation. "That's what hurts the most," she said. "You all thought it was just TV. But I was really out here putting money down, building stories, and trusting people." Jim looked away. Fans watching the interview in real time were stunned. The emotional weight of the moment wasn't just reality TV drama anymore. It felt raw, real, like two people who had carried the weight of years of silence and were finally breaking it. And yet even in that honesty, there were more questions than answers. Outside the studio, the ripple effects spread fast. Chrissy, watching the special from Miami, reportedly went into full panic mode. Insiders say she screamed when she heard Jim admit he knew something was going on. Her immediate reaction was to go live on Instagram, but her team stopped her before she could press the button. She had already lost the public. If she went off script again, she'd lose the last bit of control she had left. Olivia, still silent, remained a ghost. Blogs speculated she had lawyered up. Some believed she had signed a non-disclosure agreement that barred her from speaking further. Others said she was preparing a comeback of her own, waiting for the dust to settle before she dropped her version of events. But for Yandy, the fallout had changed everything. She wasn't just defending her name anymore. She was rebuilding it. Over the next 2 weeks, she went on a media tour. Not to bash Chrissy or throw Olivia under the bus, but to reclaim her narrative. Podcast interviews, magazine exclusives, even a documentary deal rumored to be in the works in each appearance. She stayed consistent, calm, composed, strategic. "I've made mistakes," she told one interviewer, "but I've never deliberately played anyone dirty. And now that everything's out in the open, I'm not hiding anymore." But then, just as things began to settle, another leak got a final voice note. This one was different. Not loud, not aggressive. But it was Chrissy clearly talking to someone off camera during an early production meeting. "We give Yandy just enough room to shine. Let her think she's winning," she said. "Then we drop her. Let her fall on her own ego." The tone, chilling, and the date stamp on the file. Weeks before filming had even started, the network was forced to issue a public statement, distancing themselves from the off-camera manipulation. "While reality television includes planned scenes, we do not condone unethical targeting of any cast member," it read. But fans were already beyond forgiveness. The backlash toward Chrissy exploded into full cancellation mode. Sponsors backed out. Her planned lifestyle brand launch was quietly postponed. Even longtime allies began distancing themselves, releasing vague statements about accountability and integrity. And yet, the real breaking point came from within her own circle. Jim. He posted a short clip to his stories, no words. Just a black screen and the sound of a door slamming shut. Everyone knew what it meant. The next day, reports surfaced that Jim had moved out. Friends close to him said he needed space. Others claimed it was permanent. One source said he loved Chrissy, but the trust was shattered. Not just with Yandy, but between them too. As for Olivia, her silence was finally broken. But not. By her, a former assistant leaked a document-10 agreement signed between Olivia and a private investor tied to Chrissy's real estate venture. The document detailed compensation for strategic media positioning and asset concealment connected to the Pact. In simple terms, Olivia had been paid off. And with that, the final puzzle piece clicked into place. Yandy had been used from day one. The Pact was never about a fair collaboration. It was a trap. And now the receipts were undeniable. The reunion episode, once canceled, was now repackaged as a docudrama event. The title: The Pact, Betrayal, Breakdowns, and the Final Truth. But none of the women agreed to appear. Instead, producers compiled footage, interviews, leaks, and unaired moments into a 2-hour special narrated by an independent host. And when it aired, it broke every viewership record in the network's history. People cried, people screamed, fans debated who was more wrong. But one thing was certain: no one would ever see Yandy, Chrissy, or Olivia the same way again. The final scene of the docudrama was simple. A clip of Yandy standing alone on a rooftop at sunset. No music, no dialogue. Just her silhouette, phone in hand, staring out over the city. It fades to black dot, and in the silence, single line appears. Some pacts are made in secret and broken in front of the whole world. As the credits rolled, the internet was already begging for more. Theories, spin-offs, interviews, everyone wanted to know. Was it really over? Had all the truth come out? Or was someone still hiding something? Because in the world of reality TV, the end is never really the end. And that's where you come in. And just like that, the truth was out, or at least some of it, from secret. Pacts and voice notes to betrayal, manipulation, and leaked receipts. What started as a supposed business alliance turned into one of the most explosive reality TV implosions of all time. Yandy, once painted as the mastermind, was exposed as the pawn. Chrissy, once seen as the victim, was revealed to be the architect of her own downfall. And Olivia's silent, shadowy, strategic played both sides until the money ran out and the truth caught up. Families were divided, friendships destroyed, reputations shattered. And yet, after all the exposes, the interviews, and the media frenzy, some things still don't add up. Who was helping Chrissy behind the scenes before the cameras ever rolled? Why did Olivia disappear for so long, only to be exposed by her own assistant? And most of all, Was there someone else in on the pact who hasn't been revealed? Because, let's be honest, it all still feels too perfect. So what happens next? Does Yandy rebuild her empire? Will Chrissy ever come back from the backlash? Is Olivia planning her own tell-all? Or is another storm already brewing? You tell us. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think was really behind it all? Was Yandy just a casualty? Or was she playing a longer game? Hit that like button if you're just as shocked as we are. And don't forget to subscribe because in the world of reality drama, the truth doesn't stay buried for long. And trust us, this isn't over. Not even close. Even close.